Peter Obi versus Omoyele Sowore, 5 ways to become the next president of Nigeria. Hashtag Peter Obi for president 2023, right? So Omoyele Sowore took some shots at Peter Obi, and I thought the attack were fair. Nonetheless, some jealousy here.
Because the reason Obi left PDP was because they outplayed him with transactional politicking. And who did outplay him? He confessed to it. Wike went to Anambra and bought Anambra PDP delegates. So it was obvious to Obi that he would not, maybe Obi would have had 1 vote, a little bit above Dele Momodu. I don't know. But he was obvious that he was going to lose and lose terribly. Then next day he moved to Labour Party. In 2019, the Labour Party presidential candidate got 5,000 votes. I was allocated 33,000 votes.
He called him a political orphan. He said the Labour Party is now the orphanage for rejected politicians such as Peter Obi. But this is a competition for the highest seat in the land at the end of the day. I mean, let's be honest. It's quite believable that Wike, former Governor Wike, bought Anambra's delegates from under Peter Obi's nose. Question for you. Which one outweighs the other here? Fairness or jealousy? Here's Reno Omokri's take.
And if you understand the personality of Omoyele Sowore, you find that when he sees somebody more accepted with Nigerian youths, he gets jealous. He wants to tear that person apart. And that's just his nature. It's consistent. It's never going to change. The reason why he's now currently attacking Peter Obi is just because of that Peter Obi has been embraced by a cross-section of Nigerian youth on social media, which used to be his own territory, which used to be a space that he dominated.
So it looks like Reno is finally willing to admit that Sowore ran the social media space in 2019. All these guys are hypocrites at the end of the day. How? They are politicians, come on. But on a serious note, I am starting to feel that I may be underestimating the combination of a Peter Obi's reputation and a youth revolution here. Another one of the deflectors that we can't trust much is here. Check out what Dr. Doyin Okukwe had to say on Arise News here.
APC and PDP belong to an old order that is fading and passing away. And it comes like that in the history of any nation. These 2 pillars will crash. There's nothing anybody can do about it. What is coming up is a youth revolution in this country. People are underestimating it.
Okay, now, I'll see you.
You have no other country except this one. And only you can do this.
Anyway, I want to break down 5 things that will have to happen in order to create a path for Peter Obi to the Aso Rock. Omoyele Sowore and the AAC can also use this as a guide from a layman political student like us. Before that, check out what Dino Melaye had to say about Bola Tinubu.
Yeah, Bola Tinubu is a baby-weight compared to an Atiku Abubakar.
How would you say that? Why would you say that?
In all ramifications. Even if
politically speaking,
politically, mentally, medically, socially, even religiously.
Break it down for us to understand.
A baby weight? Really? Who is Peter Obi?
We have 2 noble Nigerians from the north coming out. Juan Kwaso is a great guy. The guy has done a lot, but within the limits of being a state governor and a few other states. And then you have Atiku, who is an old and experienced politician. That's from the north. And then in the south here, we have 2 great Nigerians. Of course, we have our one and only Asiwaju, Bola Tinubu. He has conquered all obstacles to emerge as the APC flag bearer. And yeah, he did. And while some people are busy complaining, learn. But there are people who know how to play the game. Asiwaju is a grandmaster of it. And I honor him and salute him. Very important. then you will have a noble Nigerian, a transformational leader, Mr. Peter Obi. See what is going on here? Wow, what is happening? I'm not going to say any other thing, no.
He's a politician, a businessman that most people discovered in 2019 when he was chosen as a running mate with Abubakar Atiku as the presidential candidate on the PDP platform, a major political party in Nigeria. Is now a third force opponent to Atiku in 2023. As for the 2023 presidential race, he dropped off last minute from the PDP primaries due to unwillingness to give shishi to delegates in bribe, according to a supporter. He was a two-term governor in Anambra State 2006 and 2010. He was impeached. His impeachment was overturned. That only tells me he has active enemies in the government. If we know anything right now, is the fact that Peter Obi is one of the few politicians known for his integrity, an extremely rare reality when it comes to Nigerian politicians. It's little to no wonder social media, Nigerian politics rangers are super excited about the possibilities of creating a path for him to get to Aso Rock. Here's Peter Obi himself here.
It's not rocket science. Let people not talk about this thing. You see, we got it wrong from the first privatization and other things and everything. Well, because you must have a commitment that you're going to do this right. What are we talking about? Power. Between 2015 and today, Egypt had doubled its power production from 26,000 to 55,000. Egypt, I mean, if we don't want, I as a president, we will go there and sit there and say, how did you do this?
Okay, Baba is capping big time here because he's missing the point that power and other issues in Nigeria is not about competency. From my point of view, it's more about willingness from 400 plus powerful politicians to do the right thing in spite of the reward system attached to doing all the wrong things. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author. Those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. So from my point of view, these 5 things have to happen to make that possible. Number 5, he needs more than social media structure. Of course, just like you have noticed the buzz on social media, and it's necessary to create a path for him to Aso Rock. But we also know that it's not enough. We all know the Fela Durotoyes, the Omoyele Sowores, and the Mogalus who similarly kicked up a bunch of social media dust in 2019, but was barely able to scratch the surface, even in their own village. Nonetheless, social media is still necessary. In fact, a follower and a supporter of Peter Obi just attempted to make an argument that the effect of social media in this coming election is going to be greater. Accordingly, I'm seeing a lot of dust kicked up by Peter Obi's supporters on social media with the hashtag Peter Obi for President 2023. They need to keep it up. I actually like what I'm seeing. Yes, I do. One day, someday, a better Nigeria will creep up on us just like that. In spite of the track record, which is the fact that Nigerians whose votes matter tend to sell their votes. It's the sad reality. The other problem here is that social media structure has never historically helped determine a Nigeria's president. Instead, the 1,000 MC Oluomos has been the determinant of election results. MC Oluomo is a prodigy of Asiwaju Tinubu, and I am simply using his name as a symbol of political structure in Nigerian context here. While I believe strongly that social media is a useful tool, we should all be reminded that an average adult person in Nigeria don't even have access to WhatsApp or Twitter. As active as those platforms seems to be with Nigerians, is the minority that makes it to the social media in any given week, not day but week. But if Peter Obi can manage to use social media to distract APC and PDP from each other as the realistic and viable opponent, we might have a great chance to change Nigeria's electioneering story here. Someone compare this to Obama and Trump. LOL, that's funny. Number 4, both Sowore and Obi will need to woo the lawmakers in Nigeria. In Nigeria's present-day political context, this means money. Let's not deceive ourselves. They both keep making the same mistakes, and that is the fact that they want to do the right thing. The arrogance of it all.
Where is the structure of Labour Party? You should ask yourself. Do you know of any Labour Party structures? You are just building them now. The AAC structures have been built since 2018 and continue to be built all over the country. When we called for a protest, revolutionary protest in 2019, there were about 26 states that carried out this protest. If 26 states across the federation can engage in a protest that will take their life, what is politics?
Sowore especially leverages this to offend all the stakeholders that matter. How many lawmakers are in Nigeria? The House of Representatives, aka the Green Chamber alone, is made up of 360 federal representatives, with each member representing one federal constituency of Nigeria. There's another 109 senators representing the Nigerian people, making a total of 469, almost 500 powerful, vicious, active, and elected politicians that Peter Obi has to woo, not just before the elections but also after he wins. Let's be clear, these are real forces that will work against the presidency of Peter Obi. Some kind of miracle would need to happen for these guys to woo the majority of these people and the Nigerian people they represent, not the Nigerians on social media. I believe in miracles too. Anything is possible. Number 3, Peter Obi especially needs street smart strategies. I was just looking at this quote from one of Peter Obi's banners, and I quote, "I can't sleep because I know what to do. I have gone round the 36 states of the country like I have gone round 31 countries of the world. I know the problems of Nigeria and I know I can fix them easily. Because I can see them, I can fix them." Listen, this slogan, or whatever you want to call it, alone tells me that Peter Obi doesn't understand what a Tinubu might understand about Nigerian politics. Politics in Nigeria has its own context, and comparing it to 31 other countries around the world is the beginning of failure. Instead of this, he needs to be applying more effort in being able to relate with the streets of Nigeria, not just Anambra. As a side note, I was just told that Professor Moghalu, who is another Peter Obi, was just defeated in the primaries of African Democratic Congress, ADC, and he has started to drag them online. These guys, Peter Obi and Kingsley Moghalu, comes off as book smart to me, and sadly, Nigerians have proven over and over again that they do not care for book smarts in political offices. Again, I believe in miracles too, and maybe God is about to take over. Number 2, Peter Obi needs to be able to replace hunger with obedient fever. Again, I'm loving all the buzzwords, the buzz phrases I'm seeing around the candidacy of Peter Obi, but there's a big old but. A big old but. If the obedient fever is not capable of replacing both short and long-term hunger in the land of this nation called Nigeria, he won't go too far. That is a fundamental problem that must be addressed not just with his mouth. Now, speaking of mouthing off empty promises, here's number 1. But what else do you think Peter Obi needs in order to win 2023 presidential election that I have not mentioned? I would love to hear from you. Please leave it in the comment below. Peter Obi and Sowore can't give shishi. Again, I was discussing with a Peter Obi supporter who happened to have supported Fela Durotoye back in 2019. I asked him why Peter Obi could not become the flag bearer in PDP. I asked, why did he have to defect to Labour Party at the last minute? He said because he would not give shishi. Oh yeah, that means money. That means that not only was he not willing to bribe delegates, he probably couldn't afford to. So I asked him if he was aware that it's actually a crime to fight corruption in Nigeria. Then he said, that's one of the problems in Nigeria. He said Nigerians are not willing to embrace what is right. I don't think Sowore has a chance at all.